Hello folks, it's Abfielder and welcome to my millionth attempt at starting a Let's Play series. As I sat at home pondering what direction to take my YouTube channel, I was struck by the amount of amazing Minecraft content on YouTube. Megabases, gigabases, beautiful builds that look like they were taken straight out of a painting. And I want to do that, but here's the thing. Most of us, we don't play Minecraft like that. Sure, we all aspire to it, but I am willing to bet that the majority of us mere mortals, we play Minecraft like I do. We start up a world, we set ourselves some lofty goals, we make some amazing plans, and then we spend the next 6 months living in a cave. Well folks, I'm here to represent the majority of us. I vow to run this series in a way that only I can. I'm going to promise you amazing farms, beautiful builds, and I'm going to deliver utter mediocrity. But it will be beautiful mediocrity, and it will be delivered at 1 episode per week. Well, let's not start this on a lie. I don't have a good track record of that. It'll be delivered whenever I can be bothered. So I have started a brand new world, as you can see in the background. It's a desert-only world. Each episode is going to consist of 100 days. I'm not going to do hardcore because, well, the series would be less than 100 days. I die too often for that, and that makes for a really short series, even by my standards. And to set the tone for this series, the music in the background, as well as setting a beautiful ambience for my opening monologue, is also masking the fact that Windows did its monthly reset of my audio settings, and I didn't notice for the first few hours of gameplay. So sit back, get yourselves a cup of tea with milk in. I'm British, we know how to make tea, and settle in for the most excitingly mediocre Minecraft series of your life. Day 1 of our brand new post-apocalyptic desert world. Now, actually, not a bad seed. We've got a village over there. There's a very buried desert temple into the side of the mountain there. And we've also got an outpost, which is super useful because it turns out there's no wood in a desert world. And if you can't make wooden tools, you can't get stone unless you explode a creeper. So an outpost is perfect because there's wood. So our first stop is to the village, and good news again, we've got some wheat for bread, we've got some beetroot if we need that, and if I'm very much not mistaken, that looks like a melon. Sleepysoid, don't need to worry about the mobs, and I'd want to fill you in on my plans for the first 100 days. What we're going to do is set up home in the village. We're going to make the area safe from mobs. We don't want those villagers to die. We're going to need those later on. And then probably build some small starter farms around the perimeter and see what resources we can get. Days 2 to 7, I spent a lot of time underground. I mined my way down to an abandoned mineshaft way below the surface, as well as a great source of wood in a desert world. I was able to get some melon and some pumpkin seeds, some rail, some glowberries, and some other resources that would be helpful along the journey. It also turns out I have absolutely no idea how to grow glowberries. I started some crop farms with the seeds that I gathered from the abandoned mine. I did a little bit of fishing so I could tame the cats from in the village, and I started on my plans to make the village safe with a beautiful wall. Oh, and on day 6, I remembered that I created a brand new skin for this world, which I forgot to put on day 1, so here we go, let's pretend this is day 1, and this is my wonderful new post-apocalyptic Abfielder skin. Days 8 to 12, I did some exploration in search of tree saplings. I checked out the desert temple, and then I made my way to the nether fortress to check the chests there. An hour or 2 wasted, since it turns out saplings do not spawn in either location. If you ever decide to do a desert-only world, there are only 2 places that you will get saplings. A wandering trader or the chest of a weaponsmith house, and that's not guaranteed. It's like a 5% chance when you find a village with a weaponsmith house, which is incredibly rare. I did a little bit more farming, a little fishing, and I continued on the amazing village wall. Days 12 to 17, having made the village safe, it was time to take on the mobs. Zombies and husks, you see, can drop carrots or potatoes. It's only a tiny chance, so I figured, why not go and kill a few? This is where I became very thankful I did not make this a hardcore world. Come on, be honest. You thought it was going to be an iron golem? Well, you're wrong. Death number 1. Enjoy it, folks. Other than that, I did a tiny bit of farming. I did a ton of exploration. I was trying to find villages that might have a weaponsmith and therefore a weaponsmith house with a chest in it so I could get some saplings. But frankly, got no joy. Oh, and I also got no carrots and no potatoes as well. Days 17 to 19, bored of exploration and not finding anything that I want, I decided to make a farm. I'd found a skeleton spawner when exploring the abandoned mine in the early days. I decided I was going to make a very basic skeleton farm. I frankly needed the XP and the bone meal. Days 21 to 23. If you're wondering about the gaps, it's because I spent most of day 20 just AFK in the skeleton farm. Didn't seem worth updating you on. When putting the footage together though, I did realise I missed the highly exciting time I found carrots in an outpost chest. That was somewhere in the footage between days 12 and 17. So here you will see footage of me expanding the farm and then using the bone meal to get the carrots growing. I also expanded the melon pumpkin area and set about growing sugarcane ready for villager trading. Days 23 to 26, it's time to take things to the next level. First off, I start building the villager breeder. This is the logical Geek Boy design. It's nice and simple to build and it's 100% reliable. I also put a small carrot farm in the village itself so the villagers can also breed naturally. That's going to replace the ones I am going to borrow. You can't see me, but I'm doing the little bunny ears. Lastly, I got some rail from the abandoned mine and got the 2 chosen villagers into the breeder. Days 26 to 33 were a continuation of the next level plans. I continued to work on the villager breeder, but in my complete overconfidence, I built it wrong. And some villagers were sadly lost. Next up, I wanted to fix my lack of iron, so I built the most stolen iron farm on YouTube. It's actually my design, not that you would know it. Check out the tutorial, I'll put a link in the description. That would make me really happy. I've gone for the quad version, basically because I plan on using iron for villager trading, and a quad iron farm kind of means I probably won't need to come back and expand it for a long time. Days 33 to 39 weren't all that interesting, so dull in fact I thought about just glossing over and pretending they didn't exist. But this is mediocre Minecraft and you have days like this. I continued to build the iron farm, did some more exploring to go and steal some beds from rival villages. It's okay, I'm pretty sure they said nasty things about my villagers. And I did a little bit of farming, and that was about it. Days 40 to 45 included more farming and continuing the iron farm. It turns out even a really simple iron farm such as mine takes time to build when you have a shortage of wood and iron. Anyway, by the end of day 45, I have one half of the iron farm complete. Well, I will have once I get this husk into position. As you can see, what I'm doing here is I've got one husk that would pick up an item, and then there was another one that was completely and utterly useless to me. This guy has now picked up a bit of the meat, what do you call it? The zombie meat? I can't remember what it's called. You know what I mean. Anyway, and I'm luring him to his new home in the iron farm. So the unit at the back there is complete, and we are going to get him in the second one. So the way to do this is build a little bit of a water stream. Then you need to actually stand in the water stream, otherwise he will just walk around it. Get into that water stream. Get in there, get in there. You might take one hit, but you need to be in the water stream, otherwise he will not go in there. Here we go, and boom, he's in the water stream. That'll get him into position. We can place a block there, a block above it, and then a block below, and we can remove the water stream as well and kill any of the other zombies that come our way. So there we have it. Half of the iron farm is now complete. We are rocking. Days 46 to 52. Before we continue, let's celebrate. We are at the very middle of this episode. The very middle of the first episode of Mediocre Minecraft. Anyway, days 46 to 52 were mostly spent continuing work on the iron farm, as you can see. Though with the fact that we've now got a double iron farm up and running, I was able to really start increasing the villager trading. As you can see, I've already got myself a diamond pick and a diamond shovel. But with the iron, I'm able to do the trading. I'm able to get a weaponsmith, an armorer. And with all those levels that I'm getting from the villager trading, I'm also able to start using the librarians and putting together a really good endgame set of armor and tools and weapons. Yes. Days 52 to 54 involved a lot more villager trading, and with that mostly done, I was also able to complete the quad iron farm. Footage here is just me getting that very last husk into place, and then plenty of iron. Like I say, I don't think I'll ever need to go back to this, but I was glad to get this project done and out of the way. Days 54 to 61. Now, with a decent armor set, I was able to head into the nether and seek out the closest nether forest biome, in this case a crimson forest, and finally put an end to my wood shortage. That's what she said. With only a desert biome to play in, I'm starting to realize the problems that this can make for a world. The next up is slime. I need slime. See, normally what I would do is head to a swamp and kill a few until it was time to build a farm, but without that option, then I've simply got no choice but to head down below. That's what she said. And start mining out a slime chunk. Thankfully, though, I can do this one bit at a time and then just come back to it when I've got a beacon. Days 61 to 69 were actually a rather quiet period. I spent the majority of this time cycling librarian trades, digging out the slime chunk and AFKing the skeleton spawner to repair the pick. Here's the most interesting thing that happened. A slime spawned, and I got some slime balls. I was in windowed mode because, well, I was AFKing the skeleton spawner at the time and just doing other stuff on the computer, and I rushed back and didn't have time to change it. But anyway, I've dug out the right chunk. I'm always really happy about that. Some of you may have noticed that little green overlay when I was digging out the chunk earlier. That's actually Mini HUD. I've done a video on that, and there'll be a link for that in the description if you want it. It's incredibly useful. But anyway, I've got slimes. We're really rocking this 100 days. Days 69 to 72 were all about preparing for the dragon fight. I really wanted an elytra and some shulker shells, so I killed some phantoms. I then went back to the nether fortress to kill some blazes to get the blaze rods, to make some slow falling potions. I made sure my armor was ready, and then I went in search of a stronghold. The dragon fight was as exciting as it always is. I destroyed the crystals, repeatedly missed the dragon as he flew around in the air, only to kill him with my sword once he settled down on the center podium. Afterwards, I went in search of an elytra, and I had the same amount of luck as trying to get tree saplings, that is to say, no luck. Days 74 to 75, I continued end city hunting, and eventually found one. Of course, it had no ship, so I had to content myself with just a few shulker shells, and not a lot else to show for, well, the best part of 60 minutes work. Days 75 to 81. Bored of the hunt for the elytra, I made my way back to the overworld and set about doing something no one would believe were it not for the fact that I recorded it. For you see, I have something of a reputation of mistreating villagers. It's probably not helped by the death of 2 earlier in this episode, so I set about redeeming my shattered reputation and building my librarians a lovely apartment block, a bed, a lectern, a torch, and most importantly, freedom to roam. Within the confines of the safety wall, obviously. Days 81 to 84. Still not in the mood to go elytra hunting, I decided to set up a small automatic wheat farm. In doing so, I needed to head down into the cave to find more dirt when my luck finally turned. With looting free on my sword, the odds of a potato drop from zombies are vastly increased, and I did it! I got a potato! Time to farm! Next up, I duped the rail. If I'm being honest, I'm pressed for time. There's no point being precious about duping, so, create a duper, dupe that rail, and then all I need to do is drop the villager into the farm, give him 8 stacks of seeds so I don't end up with bread, and voila, I have a fully automatic wheat and seed farm. And I got a potato! Days 90 to 91. If you are wondering about the missing days, don't worry. My librarian population had grown, so I spent the days cycling the trades getting the bucks I wanted. Nothing interesting happened at all. On day 90, though, I worked up the strength to go elytra hunting, and my run of good luck continued. Within a few minutes, I found a massive city with a ship. Elytra found. Must be one of the first games of Minecraft where the player found an elytra before a goddamn tree sapling. Days 91 to 97. Buoyed by the elytra success, I decided it was time to start breeding the cats and begin work on a mega creeper farm. Then I heard a familiar noise. Could it be a wandering trader? Yes! My long wait for a sapling finally over. Or not. 93 days and you sell vines, dripstone, gunpowder, and coral blocks. And not a single sapling inside. Of course. 93 days and I still do not have a sapling. To be honest, for trying to sell me sand, he deserved that. Once I got over that disappointment, I went back to building the creeper farm, then realized I didn't have anywhere near the amount of resources that I need to build this thing. And to be honest, it was probably easier just to wait till nighttime with looting free on my sword and just go and kill creepers for gunpowder at this point. That would make far more sense than trying to build my 31 layer mega creeper farm. We'll get back to this in episode 2. Days 98 to 100. Well, not a lot happening these days. I figured I'd go and kill some wither skeletons, try and get some skulls so I could start work on the slime farm again in the next episode. And I actually got really lucky with my second wither skeleton. As you'll see, I got myself a skull. But then I realized I was very quickly running out of time and I needed to be back at the base so I could show you what we had achieved in 100 days in our single biome world. And we have achieved a lot. We've got the melons, we've got the pumpkins, we've got the potatoes, we've got the carrots, we've got the wheat, We've got the sugarcane, we've got the rail and carpet dupers, we've got the very safely walled off village in which we've got a whole ton of villagers, and we haven't died to an iron golem either. We've got the librarian villager apartments. They get to roam free. As I said, no one would believe that if I hadn't recorded it. We've got the quad iron farm, which is absolutely fantastic. And it's working very, very nicely. And if I'm being honest, I completely forgot about the wheat farm. We've got the gunpowder farm, and over in the distance there, we've got the villager breeder and the wheat farm. And let's just zoom out for a really fantastic view. We actually got a huge amount done. That's absolutely and utterly fantastic. Really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button, consider subscribing. Anyway, folks, I'm Abfielder. That's all I have time for. Goodbye.